It's Friday, March 22nd, Saturday, March 23rd, if you're on the East Coast, across the pond, or down under. And this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North, on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Deep Talk Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. A good way to support this show is shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel Ensuho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website, click on the Ensuho banner, and subscribe to the channel today. The mystery of the Dyatlov Pass in the mountainous regions of Russia is a story that just will not go away. 7 men and 2 women set off on a ski trip on January 23rd, 1959. Their 16-day itinerary aimed to cover 190 miles and cross the North Ural Mountains. The plan had been to make contact by telegram from the final point, but it never happened. When searchers went out to look for the 9 adventurers, the grotesque sights of 9 bodies brought one of the world's greatest mysteries to the forefront. Teodora Hadjiyska joins us tonight to discuss the Devil's Pass incident. She's one of the world's premier researchers of this bizarre case that's almost 60 years later and still hasn't been solved. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the news of the week here on the SOR Newswire. Teddy, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What a pleasure to have you here with us. How are you?
Hi, Dave. My pleasure, too, to have me.
Now, you are way over in Europe. You have this beautiful accent. You are someone who is very educated, world-traveled. You've lived in a number of different countries. What made you decide, through all of your travels and everywhere you've been, that the Dyatlov Pass incident was something that you were going to become most passionate about?
Yeah, that's true. I have been very passionate. I spent all my spare time for 6 years now. And what happened is that this incident came to my attention in a very special moment of my life. If I was away or busy with something else, I wouldn't have related to it in such a deeper level that it happened to me. I had a near fatal car accident in one of my travels in Indonesia. Me and my husband, Yuri, we like volcanoes, mountains, all kind of elevations. So we just love Indonesia. It was his 4th time, I believe, and my 3rd when we went to a volcano. And just when we were going back on the back of a truck, the brakes failed. So we just smashed into a rock with 70 kilometers per hour. And I was with flailed chest, rib fractures, with my skull was fractured, and a lot of trauma. So I had a lot of surgeries, and after one of them, while I was just recuperating, doing nothing, and it's a very unusual state of mind, and I was really down, I saw a movie, a horror flick called Devil's Pass. And just when I was about to erase it from my memory, my husband said, you know that this is after a real story? And I said, no way, because the movie is about Nazi experiments and bunkers and zombies. And no way this movie and reality could be in one sentence. But Yuri said, well, read about Dyatlov Pass, and this is how it all started. The problem was that I couldn't actually find in one place or in many places anything that made sense. The case is so difficult to understand if you don't have the facts in one place all put together. And it has been, when I started reading about it, 55 years. and all of the sources were in Russian. So I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest researcher, but I'm the missing link between the Russians and the Americans, because my site is yes, it is the only site where everything is one place, but it's also in English. I translated all the case files, which took me more than a year. And I just hoard all the information I find about the case in one place. What is interesting about this case is that very well documented. We have the photos from the hikers' cameras up to the last day. We have photos of them pitching the tent on the place where it all started, all the events unfolded to their deaths. We have the diary entries. We have so much information that doesn't make it easier to understand what happened to these people. So this is how I got involved. I was laying, recuperating, and I had the same trauma like Dubinina when I read about her flail chest and exactly how she was found. And I related to this because if I wasn't saved after my car accident, I would have died on place. And there are theories that actually she was, helped down the slope for a mile and a half with this trauma. And her trauma is even worse than mine. And one broken piece of rib just pierced her heart. And she died not more than 30 minutes after she got the injuries.
You sound very, very passionate about this entire story, and it's something where you can hear it in your voice and that excitement in just talking about it. Have you ever been that passionate about anything in your life? Because you've lived a pretty good life, one that many of us would dream of, because we all talk about traveling, and yet here you are. You speak 4 languages. You are someone who has lived all over Europe, the United States, Cuba. You've lived in a lot of places, but this is your passion, I can tell.
Well, at least it doesn't fade away. It has, the more I deal with the site, with the case, and I get in touch with people, because it's not just me. I have a network of Russian friends that we communicate. And the more time passes, the passion doesn't die down. So to tell you the truth, I always throw myself passionately because this is my nature, but it never lasted so long, and it never grew actually stronger as it is now. Maybe because there are results, like more people get in contact with me, asking me questions, and I see that the site is really useful. People thank me and said that it's really making it more easier to understand. So even if I just tell people about the case, it still helps because it's really popular. But if you don't have the sources or access to the source, or don't understand the sources, then you jump to these superficial theories and versions about, you go straight for the extraterrestrial, for the gravity tunnels, for the infrasound, for the Yeti. This is what the movies are about. When American expedition and film crew goes there, they usually go for that because this sells. But if you get into the details of the case, it's not less interesting. Just the details make it so strange. The small details.
Well, you know what? I still think it's aliens or Yeti, because that's more fun for me.
Could be.
That's way more fun for me. But I do have to tell people about your website, dyatlovpass.com. That's dyatlovpass.com. And I was looking at this website in preparation for you tonight, and this is like an encyclopedia on this case. The work you have put into it and the way you have broken everything down is absolutely painstakingly, I'm assuming, amazing. It really is. I mean, you have literally detailed every rumor, every theory, photographs, the people who died on the mountain, who the rescuers were, case files, diaries. You went absolutely crazy on this, and I mean that with all due respect and admiration for you doing that. Why did you feel that you had to be the one to build this online encyclopedia about this case?
There was a void on the web about this, and my business, my profession is actually developing websites. So I have the background, I have the server in the States, and I have the platform. So I have the knowledge, I have the means. And then for my own safety, because I was getting nuts trying to collect all the information on my computer to read Rakitin and all the books and all the case files and have the high resolution scans that were uploaded on Russian servers, and all that resulted that I need for my own clarity of mind to put this together. And this is the media that I'm very familiar with, the website, the online application. So I just started putting everything that I had access to. But the amazing thing is that people started sending me information. So I am not, maybe I'm the only site that doesn't have an agenda. I don't sell anything. And please know that there is no advertisement. I really hate advertisement. I don't have any monetary gain of what I'm doing. And I really put a lot of time in this. And people start sending me materials and helping me out with information. So now it's like, it's not obligation, because I don't like this word has that like I have to do it, but it's just rewarding because I see results of what I'm doing, and it's getting more and more interesting. And Dave, when I said that don't jump to extraterrestrial and Yeti and stuff, I mean, it could be, I just want people to make an informed decision when they lean towards this theory. I just want them to know the details, which are really strange again.
And it is a strange case. It's something that has baffled people now for almost 7 decades. It's absolutely insane, this entire case, because there are so many rumors around it. But let's go back in history here for a little bit for people who may not be familiar, and we're going to educate them right now. Let's go back to January 23rd, 1959. Could you take us back to that day and let us know what happened?
January 23rd. There were 10 at the beginning. I mean, the group was of 10 hikers. One of them just went back on the 2 days after the hike started. Dave, just to correct you, it's 6 decades, right? Because it was the 60 years since the tragedy this year. So the group,
60 years.
Yes. So basically on the January 23rd, they took a train from Sverdlovsk, which is now Ekaterinburg, to Serov, the city of Serov. So the train was number 43, if that makes any difference. I don't want to overwhelm with details. You can read all that. So they took the train. Then they arrived on the January 24th. They had a little incident. You know, in this case, every small detail, people make a big deal out of it, and we don't know if we shouldn't. So when they arrived on Serov, they were jokers. They were in such a good mood, and it's all documented. They were singing and everything. So Dubinina, the girl that I relate to because of the trauma she's going to receive later on, she was keeping the money for the group, and she didn't give them money for breakfast. And so Krivonishenko, one of them, started singing and begging for money, and he was arrested. So this was an incident on the January 24th. Of course, they were released, so nothing happened. So they were in a really good mood, looking forward to this trip, it was a category 3. People ask me, why did I choose this destination? Was it anything interesting about it? Well, there is nothing interesting during the summer or any other season because it's not such a high mountain that they were heading to, Torten. It's only 1,234 meters altitude. But in wintertime, it's really the highest category of hike because it's a long, long way. Everything you have to carry on your back. You are away from civilization. You have to cope by yourself. There weren't any GPS devices back then. There were no trails, no markings, nothing. You have to find your way. And during that period, they didn't even have decent maps because they were forbidden because of the Cold War and everything. So they had to ask the local people what is the best way to go. And then you have to cope with really severe weather. I mean, this is what actually made it so dangerous because it's a subpolar climate and you can expect the storms every day. The weather just changes dramatically in span of an hour. So, but we're still in civilization. So on the January 25th, they arrived in Vijay, still on a train. And then from Vijay, trucks takes them to Settlement 41. Which people ask me, why is it going by number? Well, this is how they named their settlements. In Settlement 41, there's still loggers that live there. So we're getting close to the gulags and places. A lot of people, after they have been released from the gulags, they just stay in the area, they find work, and they stay there. Now, the gulags, they're not just people that are criminals there. You could easily end up in a gulag at this period of history for the Soviet Union, in the Soviet Union. So there were people working in the 41st logging settlement. And then they hire a sled with a horse and Uncle Slava to take their backpacks actually, to take to a mining settlement what was uninhabited, abandoned. So there is nobody there. So there's still 10 people in the North Second mining settlement. Actually, they arrive they travel by truck. I don't know if I mentioned that. They traveled by truck to the 41st settlement. So this is what actually got the 10th hiker, Yuri Yudin, sick because he had some nerve on the back that was really hurting him, so he couldn't walk. And Second North mining settlement was the last place where he could turn around because he was really slowing down the group. So he went back with Uncle Slava. And that's the last time when they were seen by people alive. And on the January 28th, Yuri Yudin goes back with the sled, and actually the hike begins away of every contact with people. It actually starts on January 28th. They put their backpacks on their backs. They put their skis, and they start their journey. So do you want me to go by day, Dave?
Well, you know what? We only got about 3 minutes here before we're going to go to break here in the bottom of the hour. But yeah, let's start off with day one. They disappear from town on their journey. Everybody's pretty excited. They're all getting ready. They're ready for the elements, for as ready as they could be. Take us from there.
They keep entries in their diaries for every night. So they had individual diaries and they had one group diary. And we can keep track of what happened that day. by their photos that they made. They really like making photos, and by the entries in the diaries. This is another thing that I made on my site. I made a cross-section of the diary entries and the photos from the cameras for each day. So you can actually see what they were shooting, the mood, the expressions, and the diary entries. And so they start pitching their tent on Auspia River, and they were trying to go on the river because it's on ice, right? But then they didn't have really, really cold temperatures, which is good, but they were getting a lot of ice on their skis because those are not the contemporary good skis that you can buy nowadays. They were really heavy white skis, and they were really difficult to walk with, but their enthusiasm was so great that they didn't mind. But there are a lot of entries about how hard it is to walk on the river, on the frozen river. So at some point, they were starting to try to go on the bank of the river. They saw a lot of Mansi writings. Okay, we have to mention that the local tribe is called Mansi, and there were people that mainly herd deer, and they're hunters, and they live in yurtas. And one of the theories is they're the to blame about the tragedy, which I don't believe in, but we have to mention that there are 75 theories until now, official theories. So one of them, the first one to check, are the Mansi, because they're the local people, and there are books about that. And they carve their signs on the trees. There are a lot of photos from the hikers about Mansi signs on the trees. And they were actually following trails of Mansi hunters. And the investigation later on was questioning the Mansi that live in the area, if they have seen them, if anything to shed some light on the group's route. So basically, we have documented night overs for each of the days until the last one.
Right. And Teddy, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to step out for a break at the bottom of the hour. We are getting a quick history lesson from Teddy on the Dyatlov Pass. If you want to check out her website, I highly suggest you do. It's an encyclopedia of this entire case. Very impressive, very easy to read. DyatlovPass.com. More on Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Remember, a good way to support this show is by going to our website, clicking on the shop banner, picking up yourself a hat, t-shirt, hoodie, shorts, you name it, we got it at spacedoutradio.com. Tonight, we are talking with Teodora Hadjiyska. We are talking the Dyatlov Pass. She has literally probably the best website in the world when it comes to documentation about this infamous case going back to 1959. And Teddy, thank you so much for joining us. And I would love it if you continue our history lesson about this trek that these skiers, these outdoor adventurers were on.
Yeah, hi. Okay, so we left to where we have...
We're going into day 2.
No, I went to day 5. Okay.
Day 5?
Yeah,
okay, day
because
5,
we started from January 23rd, and they were traveling by train, bus, and truck, and then by horse sled. And we're on the January 28th. This is where we left off. And now I count January 29th, the night of January 29th. As, yeah, this is the first night when they actually spend the night in their tents. They had a very interesting tent, and it's important because this is what was first found, and actually the whole mystery unfolded from the tent. The tent were 2 tents for 4 people stitched together, so that makes a big tent that was supposed to fit 10 people. They're now 9 because one of them turned back due to illness. And they had, Dyatlov, the leader, had made a mobile stove, which is also an interesting fact because there are theories that almost the stove is to blame because of maybe the poisonous gases or it exploded and something like that, which is not the case. But I want you to picture their overnight camp by the river. And how they pitched the tent. They usually suspended the tent from the branches of the trees when there were trees. When there were no trees, they were using their ski poles and the skis to hang the tent on it. And then the stove had a chimney coming out of the tent. And they all were inside together. The entrance of the tent was not zipped. There were no zippers back then, but it was some toggles that they didn't rely on, and they had some sheet hanging like a curtain behind the entrance. What's important about that is how fast they could flee if something scared them off or something happened inside the tent, because... Okay, if we fast forward, let's say, okay, maybe I should calm down. So they have the 28th they spent in the tent. Then on the January 30th, they pitched their tent on the banks of Ospio River again. And on the January 31st, the plan was they were carrying a lot of provisions. Their backpacks were very, very heavy. And they were going with their skis in the deep snow, and it was really hard to walk through the forest. So the plan was to make one final exertion to climb over a pass and to leave some of their load so they can make a lighter ascent to Utorten. But what happened is on the January 31st, according to the diaries, they tried, but it was really hard to climb on the pass. So they turned back and make the cache site on the south side of the pass, which is deviation from their original plan. They were supposed to go over the pass and make the cache site on the other side, on Lozva River. But they tried and they went back, and they have entries in the diaries. Dyatlov said that it's really hard to walk, and the wind is strong, although it's the south warm wind. I imagine what is the north wind like if this is the south wind. And he said that the wind feels like the engines of an airplane. It's so loud and it's so strong. So they decided to leave their load on the south side of the pass. And they had a small fire that actually we don't even know if they had the fire, because they used the fire to cook. The stove was used only to warm them up. And they had their meal inside the tent. So they built the cache in the morning. And now this is the last entry in the diary. I mean, their night of the January 31st. They have very good information about the weather, which was not very cold, the wind, that everything was under control. They were in good mood, just exhausted because they tried to go over the pass. They didn't succeed, so they went back. They were just tired. And on the February 1st, this is their last day alive. They go up the ridge, and I'm cautiously avoiding the word over the pass, because one of the strange facts is that they didn't actually go over the easier way to climb over the ridge, but they just climbed 500 meters to the left. And this is where the speculation started. Were they lost? Did they know what they were doing? What was going on? Why didn't they go over the pass? Because what we now call Dyatlov Pass, it was just the easiest way to go over the ridge at their time. It is called Dyatlov after the incident. But they, according to the speculations we have, they never made it the easier way. They just went straight where it's steep. And here the mystery starts. They didn't go down the ridge where they were supposed to, but they just pitched the tent right there on the top of the ridge, which is very strange for a tent because the wind is very strong. And also there is some angle of the slope. And so this is the place where the tent was found. We don't have an entry in the diaries for February 1st, but we have a satirical pamphlet, like a flyer, which is a very strange thing. This is the last document written by them on the night when they died. So they were interrupted in their routine for the night somewhere between writing this flyer, which is called Evening Otorten. They were cutting their meal, like the loin. They were found pieces of the loin, one of them eaten because just the skin was left. And they were just preparing their meal. And then suddenly, for the people that haven't read about the case, They ripped, they cut, they destroyed their tent in a very big cuts, like a door, and they totally destroyed it from inside. Okay, so you will say something happened, they were scared, something happened, but they didn't run. They did not run after they got out of the tent, because I consider the best and the only testimony from Dyatlov group are their footprints documented by photographs on the search by the searchers. They went in a very orderly, calm way down the slope, on the north side of the slope, not where they came from, not where they knew they had left some even shoes and food and everything, but they went to where they haven't been yet, to the north on the north slope of the ridge of Kulatsa Hill, because the nearest peak where they pitch their tents, like the 150 meters down from the peak, is called Kulatsa Hill, which is the infamous Dead Mountain, which is Dead Mountain because nothing grows there and there is no hunt and game and people don't go there. I mean, don't go there is another thing, but it's just Dead Mountain. But now we call it Mountain of the Dead. Even my title of the homepage is on purpose Mountain of the Dead, but that's the Dead Mountain where they actually died. And then I said, don't go there, which legends go that the mountain where they were going, their destination is Mount Otorten. And legend is that this means don't go there in Mansi language, which is not. I mean, Otorten means the windy mountain or the something else, the goose nest.
Right.
I mean, this is what actually the research shows, that it's called the windy mountain, but it's commonly used. I mean, the local people were saying don't go there because it's really dangerous. They never went there because they never had a reason to go there, because in winter time they don't hunt, they don't have any reason to go there. But the hikers, they want the challenge, they want the trip, the trek, the category third. A lot of people go to Otorten nowadays too, because this is the closest to the subpolar weather that you can cover in like 2 weeks, and it's a really good trek. So anyway, where was I?
I want to ask you a quick question there, if you don't mind, because in hearing you talking about the real names of the mountains and the passes and everything, it's really easy to see now how we, as people interested in this case, have made up our own names for even the mountaintops, which aren't very true. But it sounds so much better in a story.
Yes. So what the first question is, why did Dyatlov group pitch their tent where they found it, the searchers found it? Well, Dyatlov liked to improvise, and going to the mountains was one way to be in charge. He wanted to be in charge. And looking at the terrain, actually, if you're a hiker, mountaineer, you know that when you cover altitude, you don't really want to lose it. You don't want to go down because you have to go up again, especially if you have a very heavy backpack on your back. So you want to keep going high. If you cover this altitude, you don't want to lose it. And also one of the requirements for the category to be third was to spend a certain number of nights they're named cold nights. They're called cold because there is no wood around, so you have to actually be without using the stove. And this is what makes the theories about the stove not without the ground, because the stove was found in its case disassembled, so it wasn't used. There wasn't wood on the top of the ridge. This was a cold night. And so, yes, I remember where was I wanted to talk about the footprints that the hikers left. Right. This is the most amazing thing about the case by me. I mean, this is one thing that it really, all the traumas, everything else, it's really something that's hard to explain. But to me, the footprints look the following. If you haven't seen photos of them or really haven't thought how to interpret those footprints. Now, if you are in a deep snow, you know that the easiest way to go is if you step into the footprint of the person in front of you, okay? These people were going abreast, 3-4 people at an earshot in a very calm, orderly way without stumbling, falling, dragging, and turning around. This is one thing that really, really, it's strange to me that they never turned around to see what scared them or what they're leaving behind. And they were discussing something, because if you have a strong wind and it's noisy, you can't talk to each other. Even without wind, it's hard to talk to each other if you're in a line going next to each other. Behind each other. So they were talking, discussing something, going orderly down without shoes, without jackets, without any footwear or gloves or hats. And they were doing this for 2 hours, going down. So I cannot explain this unless you have decided or given an order to go down. Even if you're given an order, because this is what the criminal theories are saying, that somebody actually confronted them, attacked them at the tent, and marched them down the slope to die from hypothermia. At the time when they were going down, I don't believe they were going actually to die. I think they might have thought that they're being robbed, and they did everything to survive in the forest, because they were going down into the tree line, and the wind really dies down really fast. Like in 200 meters, you don't have such a strong wind. And they went into the direction when the wind was hitting their backs, so it made the walk easier. They couldn't go against the wind. And I believe this is the reason when they took the shortest way to the tree line, to the forest. And then they made a fire. They actually cut branches and made a fire. This is a behavior of somebody in their mind without any altercation. And I don't even think that they were, and they didn't hide it. Because if somebody was attacking them at the tent, they would have made a better job of hiding in the forest the fire, the light of the fire. Otherwise, the people at the tent will actually know that they're in a survival mode, and they could actually survive the night. There is a straight line of vision between the tent and the fire they made. So I believe they thought that they're going to leave the perpetrators to do whatever they want from them, to take their possessions, and they're going to go back to the tent after they're done. I think they went down to just survive the night. This is what their behavior is saying, because they made a fire, and then they digged a bivouac, a snow cave, to actually hide from the cold. They laid down branches on the flooring. They laid down some clothing on the flooring, and you can actually survive the night. Now, I don't know if they were thinking going back to the tent in the morning, I don't think they would have survived, but at least they wouldn't have died in the way they were found. So this is, we know. Okay, let's talk about facts. The footprints were seen 50 meters down the slope, and they were seen for a span of 50 meters themselves. I mean, we have documented footprints for 50 meters. How were they preserved for, 2-3 weeks after they were found? Well, this is not so strange phenomenon when you press snow with your feet, especially if you're warmer because you don't have shoes. And this pressed snow, if the temperature gets really cold, gets harder, and then there is always very strong wind on this place. So the snow around the footprints gets blown away, and you have this embossed, like raised pillars of footprints. So this is how they were preserved. I have seen this many times. I'm a mountaineer, so I have seen them. I have seen this a lot of times. Like the footprints are not inside the snow, but they stick out of the snow. This is when there is a lot of wind.
Right.
So,
and I'm gonna get you to hold on right there, because we are gonna get ready to go for a break here. And I know in hour number 2, you've said a lot of really interesting things, and we haven't even got to the heart of this story yet, Teddy. Wow. Okay. I cannot wait for hour number 2. And I know our audience is probably thinking the exact same thing. Teodora Hadjiyska is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. You got to check out her website. If you have any interest in the Dyatlov Pass and the story, the mystery behind it, she has literally written an encyclopedia at dyatlovpass.com. dyatlovpass.com. Check it on out. It's amazing. We'll be back with more details of the Devil's Pass right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. This weekend, while I am off finding my Zen and my Chi, you have Tessa Nicole Thomas back for Spaced Out Weekend, Saturday and Sunday night, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So make sure you check it on out at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM, and, of course, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Good to have you with us tonight. And, of course, you can check out all of our archives for free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Deep Nosophist. Deep Nosophist is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Go rocking out to Bumblefoot. You can go shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store, as it's a great way to take care of your Spaced Out Radio needs. And you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. Tonight we are talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident. What happened back in 1959 to 9 outdoors people who were just going out for a little winter vacation fun in the snow and some skiing and hiking? Our guest tonight, Teodora Hadjiyska, is our guest. Her website, probably the best encyclopedia in the world on this case. Go to dyatlovpass.com. That's dyatlovpass.com. Teddy, welcome back to the show.
Yep, I'm here, Dave.
Thank you so much for being with us. I got a question for you. A few times you've mentioned that they were walking without shoes, without gloves, not prepared for the elements. Mm-hmm. Have we been able to figure out why they would take off their winter gear?
Nothing in this case is straightforward and simple. So to complicate the definition of all of them being without footwear, 2 of them actually had some kind of footwear, not the one that you hike with, but at least the one that you go in the near vicinity of the tent. So Zolotaryov and Krivo, Nishenko, let me just double check. I think it was Krivo. They had some kind of actually it was Tivo, right? No, I said Krivo. It was Tivo Brignol and Zolotaryov. They both had the inner shoes, felt shoes of their hiking boots. And you do that when you go out to, let's say, take something that's really near the tent, or if you go out to pee. And I say that is because there were traces of the 2 men that went out to relieve themselves. I mean, can you imagine that after 3 weeks, they were preserved on top of the snow? So to me, there goes the theory of an avalanche and snow slab, because you can preserve this on the top of the snow. So anyway, 2 of them are slightly better, had something on their feet other than socks. So why just 2 of them, 2 men? And they were in the tent. All the evidence shows that they were in the middle of their dinner. And something made them go out of the tent. So here I'm going to narrate my speculation, but don't take it for granted. Nobody knows if this is what happens. It's just, this is how they behaved. So to me, two of them go out for some reason to relieve themselves or something else. They see something in the sky, because in this case, you will hear a lot of times mentioning about orange orbs and the lights in the sky, and a lot of theories about the ball lightning. There are a lot of things in the sky. There were also testimonies from the meteorological nearby stations and from other searchers that saw lights in the sky. And I have been told that this is very common for these areas. There is a lot of lightning show going on in the sky, but that never killed anybody. Never. It can make you feel uneasy or some kind of I don't know, feeling. But everybody just speaks about feeling when they see these lights. Also, I had somebody in the forum who elaborated on the psychological phenomenon, how you can see these lights or think these lights are actually following you or something like that. But never mind. Okay, so two men went out of the tent and they saw something in the sky, and they said they rushed back to the tent. One of these two people with some kind of a footwear was found with camera around his neck, which is also weird. I mean, you don't have jacket, you don't have anything, gloves, hat, shoes, but you have a camera around your neck. So it was important. To me, it's not a conspiracy. She just rushed, took his camera, called his friends that there is something that's going to disappear if they don't rush right away out of the tent. And one of the photos that they found in this camera that spent, I don't know, two months in the water, or at least 2 weeks in the water, because the pathologist said that the last 4 bodies were submerged for 2 weeks, not the whole 2 months. Otherwise, their decay would be different. Anyway, so the cameras that we see this photo of something, a light in the sky, has maybe 3 heads. So Zultryov was trying to shoot something in the sky behind the backs of his friends, but his friends didn't run. They just seemed to look in the sky, and he's shooting above their heads. So they're outside, one of them with a camera, and they all look at the sky. This is how I think they got out of the tent, or at least this is how you can imagine them. And then some confrontation, something happened to make them decide to go down the slope. To me, if they were just taking pictures and they didn't have any clothes or shoes on them, I think they were surprised by something outside the tent that made them decide to go down. Now, if this decision was theirs or somebody else ordered them to do it, we don't have any proof of neither way. To me, I'm just laying down a speculation of how their behavior looks like. You have to make up your own mind. Nobody can give you proof for anything in this case so far. There are no traces of other third party, any other people around the tent. Having said that, I have to tell you that this is a very contaminated crime scene, because nobody preserved anything when they found the tent. That actually gets us to the 26th of February, if we go down by the timeline of the incident. So after they haven't sent the telegram when they were expected, there was some delay because there was a confusion, because the hiker that went back told them that they might be coming back on the 15th, not the 12th. Then there was another group that came back to Ivdel, and they were confused that maybe this is Dyatlov group. We're talking about the times when communication is not as you have it now. We're talking telegrams and groups, and somebody in the sports club of the university gets these telegrams and has to react to it. So it took them maybe 4 more days until they launched the search 4 days after they were expected back. So to me, that's not such a long period, although they make it really like they were delaying it on purpose and this is a cover-up or something like that. But okay, so they started the search and they didn't really know where exactly to look for because there is administrative procedure that you have to file your route and some commission to approve it, and some copy has to go someplace, and they didn't find that copy right away. But there is no mystery. There was a route, and they finally found it, but they still don't know where to look. They didn't know if they made it to Thornton, so they launched a really massive air search for the group, which to me proves that the military and the government and everybody was on top of the search because they launched a lot of sources there. And the first thing that was found was the tent. And the tent was in, I don't know why, maybe because the search party was from their colleagues and students and friends from the university. They didn't expect, they were not looking for dead bodies. So nobody actually was trained and behaved as if this is a crime scene. So they rushed to the tent. Well, they made sure that there are no dead bodies inside the tent. That's why they made some additional cuts in the tent that they were later on documented, which cuts were made from the searchers and which cuts the tent was found with, which was easy because it turned out that the cuts of the tent were made from inside. So, of course, the searchers made their cuts from outside. And the poor tent is one of the evidences that is really graphic because it looks like a result of an attack, as if somebody is attacking them with sharp weapons, but it was cut from inside. And if you ask me, I don't believe the hikers did that. No hiker will do that to their tent. I think the tent was cut after they were marched out of the tent. And so they found the tent. They stomped all over around the tent. So there is no proof of there were any traces of other people or anything around. But what we have from the testimonies from the investigator, actually that's the prosecutor, Tempalov at the time, is that there were things scattered outside the tent. And now we start with the strange small details. For example, a sheet of knife is found outside the tent, but the knife itself that goes in that sheath is inside the tent. So how would that happen? And we're talking about a casing that goes on the belt. So you have to actually unbuckle the belt and throw the sheet on the snow. And according to my speculations, is if the group was confronted by somebody while looking at the sky in their underwear, that somebody said, okay, now you go down. And also take off your jacket, and all the knives you have on the belts. Since there were 9 people and very well fit and they're young, they're courageous, they're strong, I don't think that they complied right away. And one of them has a small fracture on the skull that matches a butt of a rifle. So I believe because we see that this knife that I'm talking about, the sheet and the knife being inside the tent, belongs to Kolevatov. But the fracture on the skull is on Slobodin's skull. I think Slobodin reached for the knife, took it out, and then he was hit in the head. He was the first one to be injured. And actually, he was the only one with documented ice bed under the body. So in my speculation, and not only mine, but Rakitin's as well, we believe that Slobodin was the first one to die, and I don't know if he managed to go all the way down to the tree, because this is where the fire was, and we call the tree a big cedar tree because this is where all the activity of survival through the night was found. They all went to the tree. I don't know if all of them made it, because if we go down by the timeline, the first 2 bodies were found under the tree, but the next 3 bodies were found between the tent and the tree. So we don't know if these 3 bodies made it to the cedar tree and then tried to go back to the tent, because they're in the straight line from the tent to the tree. Or one of them just fell down. I think it was Slobodin while going down, because ice bed under the body you get when you're still relatively warm when you fall down. So you continue to melt down the snow. So I believe he was not that frozen, but he fell down from the injury. This is like the boxers' injuries when they get hit in the head and they continue the game, but then they get more permanent damage. So imagine if they go down to the tree, they make the fire, and then they see that one of them is missing. I believe Zina, who is a very sensitive girl, she would go looking for him. And then Dyatlov, who was in love with Zina, will go looking for her and her whatever she was going to. And those were the 3 people that were found in the straight line from the tent to the cedar tree. There is a lot more details in this span of the events that I can mention. And just to whet your, sense buds to read more, there was a flashlight found on the top of the tent, which was turned off. So when the searchers found it, they turned it on and it worked. So somebody actually left a perfectly good flashlight on the top of the tent. But that's not all. This flashlight was found without snow on top. And everything else was covered with snow. And also,
that's interesting.
The flashlight had snow, like 2 centimeters, I believe, snow underneath, and then nothing on top. It had some on the sides, which means that the wind was blowing some snow while it was sitting there. So, but you can't take it straight, all you hear and read about this case, because some of the searchers may have picked up the flashlight. Maybe there is no mystery about it, but we won't know because it's a contaminated crime scene. Then there was another flashlight in the middle between the tent and the cedar tree, and this one was drained out from juice, no batteries. It wasn't working, but we don't know. It wasn't documented if it was on or off when they found it. We know that it found it. It's all on the site. I have put there everything I find about the details of this case. The cedar tree has branches broken up to 5 meters on the side where the tent is, as if somebody was climbing up the tree to look at the tent, and then it fell down because the branches are really thick and they were broken. And this can only happen if a body falls down, and maybe somebody was not looking at the tent. Maybe one of them was trying to hide from somebody. So it's very popular theory is that whoever marched them down spent some time in the tent. There are cuts that are on the eye level as if to look out, And the tent is in a very windy place. So if you're a perpetrator and you're trying to figure out what to do next, you might as well take shelter inside the tent. Cut some, make to see if they're going down, some cuts to look at the hikers that you march down to die from hypothermia. Another strange thing is that nothing in the tent was taken or in any other way disturbed, which is weird. The investigator and the prosecutor and everybody was looking for signs of fight or altercation or anything. None were found. Only one thing. There is only exclusion. There is only a but in this case. But there was one ski pole that was cut, not broken, but cut, as if somebody cut the ski pole to make it shorter. Well, the theory is that they wanted to prop up the tent, but they didn't have spare ski poles. You wouldn't damage a ski pole if you intend to continue the hike. So that was weird. In the tent were found a lot of money, all the hikers' money, food, chocolate, cocoa, a lot of warm clothes. And that would be of a real interest to Mansi or escaped prisoners from the Gulag, especially the alcohol. There was some alcohol in the flasks of the hikers. None was touched. Nothing was taken. So the tent is there are three places where the events unfolded. Three I would call them turning points, landmarks of this incident. One is the tent. The second one is the cedar tree. And the third one is the ravine, the den, the snow cave, we call it the bivouac, where the last bodies were found. If nothing so far makes sense, then we have the last bodies, and I'm fast forwarding here 2 months because they were only found in May. But what the searchers
we only
did,
got about 30 seconds left, so make it quick.
Oh, well, maybe I should. Okay, I will just say that they were not found in the den. So they built this cave. They made everything, all the precautions to survive the night, but they were not found there. They were found 20 meters down the ravine,
That is very strange. Very strange.
And there is more to come.
There is. And I also want to let you know, we want to get into some questions from our audience, too, because they are piling up in our chat rooms, and we like to include the audience in there. So we're going to get to more of the Dyatlov Pass. What happened 60 years ago? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Teodora Hadjiyska is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight as we head towards the weekend with a great show topic, the Dyatlov Pass. Before we bring back our guest, I want to remind you a great way to support this show is to head to our store on our website, spacedoutradio.com, click on shop, because you'd look good in one of our t-shirts, hats, beanies, hoodies, socks, you name it. Drink out of one of our coffee cups. Make it all worthwhile. Once again, a great way to support what we do on a nightly basis. Tonight we are talking with Teodora Hadjiyska. She is probably one of the premier researchers in the world, if not the premier researcher in the world on the Dyatlov Pass. Her website is absolutely incredible. It's like an encyclopedia of this case called dyatlovpass.com. dyatlovpass.com. And if you want to learn more about this case, go to this website. There's no need to go anywhere else. Teddy, thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, Dave. Thank you. I need to mention that this is not me doing all the work, that I have a lot of sources behind my back, and I can hardly keep up with all the information they're giving me. They're Russians, and they're the real researchers. And as somebody said, I'm just the conduit. Believe me, I wouldn't have such a perfect information on the side without them. So it's not just me. Just wanted to mention that.
Well, we're going to give you the credit. We're going to give you the credit because you're here and you're one of us.
I'm passing it to them, so you can give it to me. I'll pass it to them. Okay.
Well, we're very thankful.
We are at the ravine right now. I just want to mention two more things because you're going to read about it and you're going to have questions about it. There are radioactive traces on 3 pieces of clothing, and don't believe when you read that they were the hikers tested radioactive. No, because that would be too easy, and nothing in this case is easy. If they were radioactive, that means they were exposed. No, just 2 sweaters and 1 pants were radioactive. So who brought them there? I don't believe they knew that they were radioactive. We know who they belonged to. And the weird part is that they were KGB agents, which at that time wasn't so strange. That was very respectful to be KGB agents. Actually, it was kind of a career. You had a lot of privileges, and people wanted to be in that thing. But I don't believe that it had anything to do with the fact that 2 of the hikers were KGB agents, although that gives reason for a lot of theories that it was they were involved. Anyway, they were wearing them. If you know that you bring with you radioactive clothing, would you wear it? If you are 21, I don't think so. The second thing is that you can tell the order in which they died because they, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you can tell the order in which they died because every next person was tearing off pieces of the clothing of the previously died hikers, which is very macabre. But if you have to survive, you need to do it. And the first two bodies were laid very respectfully, but their hands were strangely up their heads, like if somebody was pulling clothing or pulling the bodies to lay them next to each other. And they were really stripped down to their skin because they were tearing their pant leg. They're in underwear, which I wouldn't call thermal because there was no such thing at the time. But they were in some kind of underwear they were sleeping in the tent, and this is how they went down to the forest. And even this was stripped from the first two. I only want to mention this because when we get to the last four, there is one fact that really bothers me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the final four missing bodies found in a creek, in running water. The pathologist said that they have been in the water for not more than 2 weeks. So the snow melted down. They spent a lot of time. So finally they got to the water and they submerged. 3 of them were with traumas that would incapacitate them right away. And the histological analysis proved that because, and I didn't know what I'm going to tell you before I start, being involved with the case. The cellular processes in your body, they're processes that start after you receive a trauma, and they start 30 minutes after you receive the trauma. So there weren't processes like that in their bodies, which means that they died. They were dead not more than 30 minutes after they received the traumas. We're talking about flelches, which is 4 lines of fractures on your rib cage.
Yes.
We're talking 12 broken ribs. Dubinina had one of the ribs pierced her heart, so she was dead in 20 minutes, not more. We are talking about caved-in skull, dead on the spot. And so what bothers me is that Zolotaryov was wearing Dubinina's hat and coat. And Kolevatov was kind of hugging Zolotaryov as if to warm him. So I believe Dubinina died, and Kolevatov took her clothing and put it in Zolotaryov, who wasn't dead yet, but it wasn't live for much longer. And Tibo was with the caved-in skull. And the traumas of 3 of them, because Kolevatov didn't really have this type of traumas, were said by the pathologist he compared them as left from a moving vehicle, like from being hit by a car. Because when you have a high velocity trauma, you don't have external traces, bruises, nothing. You are pink and whole and you're soup of bones inside. This happens if you fall from a very high store building like the 8th floor, or you being hit by a very fast moving car. So any theory that you might have is like, up to that moment, how can traumas like this be caused? By whom? By what? Even if there are people going after them, how do you cause a trauma like that? There are no fallen trees or big boulders or nothing there. A car cannot get there because this is a creek, a ravine, a really steep and narrow place where they were found. In one of the books, they said that the Mansi took some mushrooms, got excited, and started jumping on the rib cages. Now, if you cause the trauma by several hits in a not that big surface, the fractures on the ribs would be different, not in straight lines, not like they were just, you have to have a very big surface and a really high speed to cause these traumas. The speculations of a lot of the theories are that they fell while they were going down the slope. I mean, if you fall, usually hit your head or break some of your limbs or strain your ankle. None of the limbs were nothing on the limbs. It's just the rib cages. And this is really something big, huge hitting you. If you're in an avalanche, there are no traces of avalanche. You can't get into avalanche where they were found. But in an avalanche, you have your limbs really in a weird position, and a lot of extremities are broken and fractured. And also, if it was caused by anything at the tent, there is no way you can get dragged down, leave alone build a tent or anything. They died 20 minutes after they got injured. So to me, if nothing else is totally mysterious in this case, now we have these traumas to explain, which any of the theories I have heard so far end at the tent, but none of them explains these traumas. They're really, really little, believe me. And maybe I can mention that I have similar trauma. Yes. Yeah, I already said that.
Was there any shock waves from military testing? Because I know that's one of the theories that is out there regarding this, because of the strange trauma that was caused, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, a lot of theories like that. It's just there are no traces on the surrounding trees to explain something like that, like no broken, besides the branches on the cedar tree that are very localized in a straight vertical line. Nothing is burnt or broken. Something has to cause this shock wave, and there are no pits in the ground to explain that. Now, I have something up my sleeve. Somebody gave me a theory, and I was expecting him to elaborate on it, and I haven't published it yet, but I will mention it in this show. Maybe this will encourage him to contact me and to put a name behind it, and those were the parachute mines. Somebody told me this theory that the reason why we don't see any traces on the ground of explosion is because those were parachute mines. And he said that he has checked that there were such tests in this area at that period of time, which means that the mines exploded in the air and they can cause a shock wave. Still, I believe something else should be broken around them because they were found in the tree line in the forest. So they received, but let's say if the mine exploded right above them, maybe, I don't know. This is what explains them to receive this kind of trauma maybe, but just 3 of them. But then what happened the 5 hours prior to that? They weren't running from any exploding mines. They were walking and things like that. So there is a theory about explosion. Actually, a lot of Russians and the Dyatlov Foundation too, they're really favoring they call it technogen theory, which is exactly rocket launches, secret weapons testing gone wrong, and there are two lines of they're diverging in two ways. Maybe the hikers were killed by one of these tests, or maybe they witnessed something they shouldn't have and they were killed, so they don't tell, which I don't know. I mean, maybe they were just killed by it. And then the cover-up came and staged everything, like doctored everything, like the tent was not there, the bodies were not there, and nothing. And this is the official Dyatlov Foundation line of speculation. This is their theory.
It's incredible. We got about 5.5, 6 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. And so many things to discuss with you in regards to this. The situation with the flashlights. Were they working? And I want to ask you about the knife that was found in the tent. Why would they cut open the tent and not go through the door or the opening in the tent? Just undo the zipper. Was it frozen? Is that the theory?
There was no zipper. As I said, there were toggles like buttons, but I don't believe they even used them because it was just a matter of moving the sheet out of the entrance of the tent. The flashlights, I already mentioned, the one on the top of the tent was working, but switched off. Otherwise, it would be drained of juice.
Right.
The one found in the middle between the tent and the cedar tree was out of battery, but they didn't document if it was found in a switched on or off position. But I can give you more interesting food for thought. You said the knife, but there is another strange thing, that the branches were cut in the ravine with a knife, and there was no knife found in the tree line, in the forest, in the ravine. Where is the knife? But there was a sheet found in the protocol of the items found on the crime scene. And strangely enough, the investigator called that sheet a knife. He said that the Krivonishenko's knife was found at the cedar tree, which was not the case. So what do you call that? Cover-up? Negligence? Sloppiness? What? I mean, that's because they wanted to close the case, but they had to explain where is the knife that cut the branches. So you're asking about the knife in the left in the tent, but there are more knives to look for, and that are even more strange to explain. Where did they go? So there was somebody down where they died that took the knives that cut the branches because they were never found. Another thing that I want to mention, because it's wildly speculated, are the missing tongue and the eyes from the last 4 bodies. I mean, I can't say anything about the eyes, but the tongue was not cut off, ripped off, or whatever while she was alive, pre-mortem, because otherwise there would be a lot of blood in her airways. And they found a little bit of blood in the stomach, which it is wildly printed that proves that it was torn out while she was alive. It's not the case. There would be a lot more blood if it was the case, if it was done pre-mortem, not post-mortem. And there are a lot of the proof, and the pathologists said, even the contemporary pathologists, they said that it's very common for bodies left in the open. The rodents go exactly after these soft tissues. And as you can see, all of the bodies in the den are with their mouths open. So it's the first thing you go for if you're a rodent. So don't get mystified. Don't jump straight for the missing eyeballs and the missing tongue and everything. Just there are a lot more inexplicable things about this case.
I'm still sticking with aliens. I'm telling you right now. The broken tree branches, the ships dropping them off from the sky, the bodies fall down. I know I'm going real peek woo here. Bodies fall down, break the tree branches going down. it's aliens. That's my whole thing.
I have
right
heard
there.
Kuncevich, the chairman of the Dyatlov Foundation, said that the bodies were dropped from choppers, from helicopters, and this is how they got the traumas. And this is how he explains the broken branches of the cedar tree. But they're broken only up to 5 meters and not further up. So if you drop a body, it would break all the branches going down. Also, the bodies found under the cedar tree were not with the traumas mentioned, the flail chest and the broken rib cages. So he explains it, that they just moved them around. Now, I want to say that everything, all the theories about this case are like Procrustes. There is a method to fit all the facts into the theory that you favor and you want to prove. Procrustes was a Greek mythology deity or something. He was a monster he claimed that he had the perfect bed for any traveler, from any guest that he gets in his house. And what he did is, if you're taller, he cuts your legs. If you're shorter, he stretches you out to fit the bed. And this is what we're doing with the facts in this case.
We got about 1 minute left before we have to go to break here. In regards to the theory, I want to set this up for the next hour, because earlier this year already, the Russians have reopened this case. They want to solve this case. Yes, they have reopened the investigation in regards to it. And I think we got to get into that. I really do. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. I hope you don't mind, Teddy.
No. I mean, should I comment on that?
Well, maybe. Well, not yet.
I mean,
we'll wait until after the break.
We have to talk. I mean, those were the contemporary recent events around the case. Of course, we're going to discuss that.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And you know what? 2.5 hours just isn't going to be enough here.
Right.
I'm going to have to twist your arm. Twist your arm. Stay a few more minutes. If you don't have anything planned.
I will.
Would you really? I will forego my news in order to keep you going.
I can talk about this case without stop.
Perfect.
I have a lot.
Let's step out for our break at the top of the hour, and we will be back with more of the Dyatlov Pass and Teddy Hadjiyska coming up right after this.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
The All of the wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. A pleasure to have you with us. This weekend, while I am off finding my Zen and my Chi, listen in to Spaced Out Weekend with Tessa Nicole Thomas, 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. You can listen to us on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, and KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon. On the digital side, we are live on Revolution Radio and Deep Talk Radio. Good to have you with us. Remember, all of our archives are free. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Deepnosophist. Deepnosophist is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Go rocking out to Bumblefoot. Good way to support this show is by shopping at our Spaced Out Radio store. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and so much more. We're going to go to the distance tonight with Teodora Hadjiyska. Of course, we're talking the Dyatlov Pass and her website, dyatlovpass.com. If you want to check it on out, there's just way too much information, not enough time. So we've asked Teddy to extend through the final break at the bottom of the hour as well, so we could talk about this. Teddy, thank you so much for doing this for our audience.
Thank you for having me on your show, Dave.
Oh, it's been absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. We were talking about theories right beforehand, and we teased going into the break about the fact that the Russian, I'm not sure if it's a government or police agencies, have reopened this case just last month to try and figure out what actually happened here. Why would they do this after 60 years, in your opinion?
There is a statute of limitations, and no agency can do any official investigation but the general attorneys of the Russian Federation. Chaika is the general attorney, and he allowed a new investigation. Now, I want to underline that this is not a reopening the case, because this is a preliminary investigation, and only if a criminal intent or something is found, then there is going to be a case. I will not jump straight to the end of that, because we were all very excited when that new investigation was announced. They have been trying to find grounds to reopen the case, or at least to start a new investigation for at least 20 years, the last 20 years, because before that, nobody really talked officially about the case. And the last year, 2018, they even exhumed one of the bodies. I don't know if you have heard about that. So the Komsomolskaya Pravda is one periodical that is a radio actually station, first of all, a big media in Russia that invested a lot of resources into dealing with the case, first talking about the case, and then they really worked a lot to reopen the case. And one of the grounds that they found is that Semyon Zolotaryov was not listed being buried in where it was expected to be buried, Ivanovskoye Cemetery. So they helped encourage his relatives to file whatever you call it, a claim for exhumation, something like that. So the bureaucracy took 2 years, and finally on April 12th, they exhumed the body, and everybody was surprised that there is a body there, first. Second, we all hoped, real time, watching the bones being pulled out of the grave, we hope that this is not him, because if it's not him, that would give grounds for a new investigation. We'll reopen the case. But alas, the criminal investigator, the forensic expert that was there, made a skull superimposition of the known photo of Zolotaryov with the skull, and he announced that it's him. They took some DNA material for test, and on May 16, Russian channel airs DNA results of the remains of the exhumed body of Zolotaryov grave, not to be a kinship to any known relative, or at least the niece, that they compared the DNA. So suddenly this is really a bombshell. I mean, one of the buried bodies that all the fractures look like Semyon Zolotaryov is actually not Semyon. That opened the doors of so much speculation, and it was just premature DNA test result. It wasn't done properly, and actually it shouldn't be announced as it's not him, but they should have said that they cannot determine if it's him. It's a lot of technical and scientific explanation how sometimes the DNA testing comparison can be inconclusive. So anyway, a second DNA testing was done on July 16 and by the Russian Center of Forensic Expertise of Ministry of Health of the Russian Federation, and they announced that the person buried under the sign of this name, Semyon Zolotaryov, matches the DNA, but they cannot exclude his brother. So nothing is simple in this case. His brother is missing. He was first a German spy, and he's missing from the Second World War too. So there is a new mystery here. In 2019, there is going to be a third DNA testing that's going to be announced. So I want just to bring you up to current events that are unfolding. Now, in February 1st, that's not by chance, the General Attorney's Office announced that they're reopening a new investigation, but it has nothing to do with Zolotaryov or the DNA results. But what I think they did is that they got enough of the claims that are filed to reopen the case, because there is another things that cannot be explained in the case files. And case files are the documents that they are responsible for. For example, on the cover page of the case files, the date is 6th of February. Now, they were not known to be missing until the 20th. Okay, let's say the 15th. So why is the case start date 6th of February? Then there was a lot of noise about a memo found from the prosecutor that says that he's going to Ivdel to investigate something on the 15th of February, which is also impossible because they were not being searched for on the 15th of February. They didn't know that they're missing yet. So there are documents like that the prosecutors felt compelled to explain. And in appearing on the TV, Russian Channel 1 on February 1st, actually Andrei Kuryakov explained this memo about the 15th of February, and he explained it well. So we were like, yeah, we're going to get some information here because this is the only institution that can dig into the archives and actually bring to light some information. There is no other way. Nobody else is allowed. Only they can appoint expertise whose results to be taken in the investigation, and they're the only ones that can actually do something about this case. And we were all, yeah. And 1st of February is the day before 2nd of February, when is the annual conference that the Dyatlov Foundation does every year. And these two documents were the centerpiece of the discussion this year. So they were actually kind of, decapitating the announcement of the Dyatlov Foundation for the year. And they said, on the 4th of February, we're going to explain the other document that gives 6th of February the start date of the case. And we were all expecting the 4th of February, like, well, we're going to really get some truth here, right? Some information. And you know what Kuryakov said? He said that there is a testimony which is dated 6th of February from somebody in Pulunochne village, which is close by where the incident happened. And they were just asking him, what was the weather at the beginning of February? And he said, something. But he signed it 6th of February, and it signed it not with Roman numericals like the other document that Kuryakov explained, but with words and twice at the beginning of the document. So it couldn't be explained with the same reasoning like dominant thinking about February, and because it was using Roman numbers. So what Kuryakov said, well, maybe this document doesn't belong to this case, which opened a really dangerous precedent that any document that is not mentioning Dyatlov by name doesn't belong to this case. And I was really discouraged at this announcement, like, what is this, what the new investigation is going to be about? And then comes the second blow. This new investigation is only investigating natural causes, and namely avalanche, snow slab, and hurricane. So you tell me, what is this investigation going to be exactly? Because they're not going to look into anything else. They started the investigation in September 2018, and they didn't announce anything. They found their information about the dates and stuff, but we only know about it now because they're right now on Dyatlov Pass. There is an ongoing expedition of the prosecutors, and together with the filming crew and Komsomolskaya Pravda that are right now on Dyatlov Pass. But my personal opinion is that I looked at the temperatures right now before your show started. They're not nearly similar to what Dyatlov group was encountering. So I don't know what you can compare in March with the conditions that they were there, because they're supposed to examine, observe, investigate natural causes. Well, why don't you go in summer then, make it easier on yourself? Now we have only positive temperatures. Now the weather is different, the snow coverage is different, everything is different. So I don't know what they're doing right now there, but I'm not holding my breath about any any great big news, groundbreaking news and findings. But on the other hand, it's good that they started the new investigation. Let me get a little bit back. I'm disappointed because I expected a lot. But on the other hand, right now, they can actually dig in the archives and be asked to explain a lot of things, which actually happened before they started the expedition, hours before they started the expedition. There was another show on the Russian Channel 1 that a new photo of an unknown body was shown for first time. We see somebody frozen that is from the lead investigator's personal archive. That's Lev Ivanov. His daughter actually gave it to the Dyatlov Foundation, all the photos of his personal archive, so many years after the case. And we see a frozen body that we can't match it to any of Dyatlov group members. It doesn't look like any of them. So at least the prosecutors may be compelled to dig into Ivanov's cases of that year and see if any other group has been found in remote areas in the mountain frozen, because the body really looks in the same condition as Dyatlov group members, but it's not him. It's not any of them. It's not any of them. So right now, the noise and all the buzz about this case is whose body is that? And you can read all about it on my homepage, because I made a transcript of the whole TV show. You can also see it on YouTube with the caps, auto-translated, and you will see that unknown body. So even 60 years after the case was closed, there is still new evidences going to the surface that may help actually find something. And the prosecutors being on board, like active ongoing investigation, is only a good thing, only a good thing. I don't expect them to bring any findings from the Dyatlov Pass, but if they're digging into the case, that's only good. And believe me, I think there is going to be some breakthrough in the case this year, because there is a lot of efforts and developments accumulated. One of the pathologists going with them right now, he's calling for exhumation of all the bodies, because his theory is that they were in a scuffle and altercation inside the group and something. So I don't know, maybe there is going to be a lot of real activity on the case. So I think it's going to be interesting for all of the people interested, followers.
Considering the fact that this investigation is going on, and you say there could be some new evidence coming forward, are we too far off from actually solving it, though?
Define solving, Dave, because I don't think anything will fly in court, because it can be challenged. All of the chain of, what do you call it, when the evidence has who got it from where and give it to whom and who processed the photos, and there are questions and doubts about any piece of information that we consider a fact. Like, for example, the films that were found inside the tent were given to students, their fellows, to be developed at home. I mean, who can actually say that the chain of custody is not broken in this? The diaries, the everything. If you take any piece of evidence, you can really destroy it as evidence in court. For example, the satirical flyer, Evening Torten. We only have a transcript, a court transcript. Nobody has seen the original. Nobody, because the Tempalov, who made the protocol of the items found in the tent, he actually, they put everything inside the tent and they dragged it with a helicopter and they put it in the morgue, and this is where they actually open the tent, and they took the items one by one, and Tempalov got a radiogram that they found, a document dated 1st of February. And the radiogram is on a date after they officially announced the time of death being the night of 1st of February. So first of all, based on what did they determine? They haven't seen the bodies. They haven't seen any items found on the crime scene. They haven't seen anything. Based on what they announce the time of death, the date of death, because it happened so far ago. Then this Evening Kotorten, which is the last document dated by the group, nobody has seen it. Nobody knows where the original is. So imagine being in court. So you're saying solved. Well, to me, a solved case is to name the culprit, to name the perpetrator, to say who did it, or to prove that they died by incident, accident, natural causes, whatever, something else. I don't think that the criminal case will ever be proved in court, but at least we can get more information about that. If we only had one theory that supports all the facts, we have no theory that supports even 50% of the facts. And I'm not even addressing the trauma of the last 4 bodies, because there we're really going into the twilight zone. I can't imagine how this can be explained. So solving the case, no, I don't believe it will ever be solved, but having some new information, shed some light on some, documents from the archive, or you see now new photos are given the publicity 60 years after the fact. A lot of things you will hear that people start talking 55 years after the incident. For example, in that same show, where before the expedition started, Natalia Versegova, she says that they investigated the life of Zolotaryov, the one that was exhumed, and his students he was a trainer, physical culture trainer in some school. They said that before the trek in 1959, he said that he's going into northern Urals, and after that, the whole world will be talking about him. They remember that 55 years after the fact. How can you trust this? I mean, do you remember what happened? Well, you're not 55 maybe, but how can anybody testify about something that happened 55 years ago? And this is going to be a testimony in court? What do we name that? To me, this is just some texture that we build these theories that we talk about, but nothing can be proved, because proof to me is 12 judges, 12, the system in the States is called what? You have, help me here. Jury.
Jury? A jury?
Yeah, the jury has to agree on something that has been told. Right. Yeah, well, in Russia are judges, and they have to find it true. But I don't believe any of this can be found to be true in court. So I don't know what to answer when I'm asked, do I believe the case will be solved? I don't even expect the case to be explained, leave alone solved, because that means proof.
And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Go to break at the bottom of the hour. We're going to continue this. We're skipping the news tonight and possibly the thought of the day, because we just need more from Teodora Hadjiyska coming up right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio Live with Dave Scott on the Deep Talk Radio Network.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hi, George Norrie here. Are you ready for UFO MegaCon, the immersion event? 7 days, 8 nights, 50 new speakers, UFO military witnesses, experiencer groups, skywatches, and so much more. Join me at UFO MegaCon, March 24th through the 30th in Laughlin, Nevada. Truly the one and only new information conference of the year. Now check it out at UFOMegaCon.com. That's UFOMegaCon.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott. Great to have you along for the ride. Now, usually we get into the SOR News Wire and the thought of the day, but tonight's guest, Teodora Hadjiyska, is so amazing, talking about the Dyatlov Pass incident 60 years ago in January, that we just had to keep her on. We had to. And so that's what we're doing. Every now and again, we got to make a shift. And Teddy has graciously said, hey, I got nothing better to do. It's a Saturday morning over in Europe. So she's stuck with us. All of us listening. And Teddy, thank you so much for being here. What a pleasure.
You're welcome, Dave. And all the listeners, too.
Oh, yeah. They are right with us, my friend. They are right with us. And, you know, in regards to some of these strange bodily injuries that the hikers had, especially the last 4 bodies.
3 of them, yeah. Kolevatov wasn't...
So 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
What in Russia, what have some of the people told you on their beliefs of what's happened there? Because some of this it's strange. I mean, you know, tests have been done, you know, especially on the fractured skull that I believe was it the skull or the ribs that literally could not have been done by any sort of human force.
Correct. Yeah. It's 2 of them have rib cage fractures that can be explained with a high velocity impact. And the third is with the caved in a skull, which can be caused by if he was hit with a big rock thrown from pretty high. You started your question, what have my Russian sources told me about it? This is a interesting question because I wanted to mention that the people that are most informed and that my information comes from, they never said they said they have a theory, they never said what it is. Because people that are deep into the case, at some point you just stop rating any theories. Every time you hear a new one, you just know that it's not that. It doesn't explain the fact. So I still publish the theories, although I see so many things that cannot be caused by this scenario of events, especially the 3 bodies that you're asking me about. Still, I haven't heard a single theory that explains these traumas. I mean, besides explosion like the parachute mines, which I still can't figure out. How would that happen there?
That's still very interesting indeed, because that would mean some sort of, percussion coming through that area. That would have been so strong. I mean, you would have to think that type of explosion or something, shockwave like that, would have to be bigger than just a mine explosion. You're getting into something a lot bigger there, militarily, I would think.
Yes, this is a very popular theory. I should mention that the autopsy report is saying that these injuries were caused pre-mortem while alive. It's proven that they have been caused while they were alive, because some theories said that they just died from hypothermia and then a lot of snow packed on top of them. Now, the prosecutors adhere to the following explanation, that the last 4 were looking for a place to start digging the bivouac, the snow cave, and they actually dug it, but then a grotto, which is a cave made under the snow coverage by running water, just gave in because of the activity that they were digging on the top, and they fell in that hole, in that grotto, and this is what caused the traumas, which I don't think that would cause trauma like that. Even if you have a grotto, it's not more than like half a meter deep. It's inconvenient to go get all wet, especially if you're dying from cold and freezing up. If you get wet, you are going to die much faster, that's for sure. But they weren't at the water, at least not 2 weeks before they were found. So they were not mangled or dragged by snow after they were dead to cause this trauma. Just wanted to mention that we have a proof that it was pre-mortem.
Do you believe that 1 or 2 of them, due to altitude, due to the cold weather, the hypothermia coming in, may have suffered from some sort of psychosis that went along with the natural phenomena that was going on in the area at that time to lead to such, I don't know if the right word is violence in the deaths or something along those lines? Because if there's no other footprints, if we know there was no other people around, this would have to be that one of the group, or maybe 2 members of the group, turned on everyone else, would it not?
The pathologist that is currently involved with the case, and it's actually on the pass, that's his theory that they fought each other because they had defensive wounds on their knuckles and some on the faces, and the nose is nothing is straightforward. They said the nose was bent but not broken. That could be caused by decay or something else, but still you can call them defensive wounds. They were not called that before the last 4 bodies were found. Anyway, even if that happened, first of all, you had to be out of your mind to behave like that, 1 or 2 of them at least. And their behavior after they left the tent is too practical, too rational, too orderly, very well This is what a hiker would do if for some reason he has to leave the tent in this temperature barefoot. And there were no evidence or traces of people in a disarray doing strange, inexplicable things other than the three going up the tent. I mean, what were they trying to accomplish? Were they looking for one of them? Were they trying to get back to the tent? But this is not putting them in a close proximity to hit each other. There were too much of order in their actions, like getting the clothes off, cutting branches, digging snow cave, making a fire. So which part will indicate a fight exactly? Even if they fought with each other, that should have started from the tent. I mean, the strange behavior. So what? Somebody chased the rest out of the tent, but they were all found down in the forest. So how do you go with this theory? The altercation started at the tent. Why were all of them going down? Why not just some of them? Or did the altercation started at the fire? But then what made them leave the tent in the first place? And thinking of starting a fight down there, you're so exhausted. You should have been in the mountain to know what it takes when you're almost depleted of your energy, what it takes to fight on top of that. You have energy to curse, to swear, and that's it. You don't lose energy on fighting with fists or something when you're in survival mode. You may do it if you're influenced by something, but you're not going to be very effective in killing people because you don't have the strength to do it. You're totally exhausted. It's dark. It's freezing. You're trying to survive. And what would cause all this altercation? What the girls, they were not dating any of the people inside the group. What would cause that? I don't know. I mean, it's a theory. There are a lot worse theories than that one.
Mm-hmm. But that's the mystery of it. That's the complete mystery of how do we get these strange injuries or a tongue being ripped out of one of their heads. And you make up a great point here, the fact that there would have been way too much exhaustion, a way too much hypothermia starting to set in. The bodies wouldn't have been functioning with any sort of strength to be able to cause a lot of these injuries. And is that what the open investigation now is trying to figure out?
They don't investigate any cause by a human, not the hikers, not criminal, not third party, nothing. They're only observing the terrain, why the tent was there, was it mistake, the snow, avalanche, and hurricane. This is what they say they're going to investigate. I don't know what they're going to report as a result, because they're not actually obliged to report anything to the public. They started their investigation without telling anybody in September. So they're not looking into this type of theories that there was a fight between them or somebody, an outsider. I just want to say something. They found a skin of Krivonishenko's thumb in his mouth. And this is explained by trying to bring some sensation in his fingers. They couldn't feel their fists anymore, their hands anymore, their feet. So how do you fight when you don't feel your extremities?
Exactly. And that's what doesn't make sense. And this is where a lot of people wonder, were they attacked by something? Was it some sort of pulsation going on from a government experiment? And this is where, unfortunately, we probably will never know, correct?
Well, I hope that there is going to be some facts brought to the public. Even though it doesn't go to court, there has to be some more information that we know until now. I do hope that this is going to happen this year. A lot of people see experiments and the government behaved also strange. They asked for radioactive analysis of the hikers, and they also asked for all the bodies to be accounted for, to be identified. And the moment they found the last 4 bodies, they lost interest because they wanted to know that nobody actually fled the country and escaped, which would have been possible through the North Pole, which is a very interesting exercise. But that's it. They lost interest after all of them were accounted for. To me, that's not exactly the behavior of a government who is trying to cover things up. It's most likely, to me, is that they didn't like all the mystery in this. You have to remember the times where that there were no crimes in the Soviet Union. There were no bad people. Nothing bad was supposed to happen there. And it's not only bad, but they can't explain what happened. So I'm not surprised that they wanted to close the case. It was just too many unknown things happening under their noses and they're not in control of. So they wanted the information to be shut down and just for them to figure it out. I don't believe they figured anything out. I do believe that the investigation was really superficial, and that we may have something more nowadays, although all these years have passed.
We only got about 4.5 minutes with you tonight, and I want to say a big thank you for doing this with us and going the distance. Is there a piece of information out there in your studies or on your website, dyatlovpass.com, Teddy, that most people overlook in this case because we're so caught up with the strangeness of it?
There is a lot of information in the case files, and what I would suggest to people that are just getting acquainted with the case, or even those that have been reading a lot of forums and posts, believe me, if you just read the case files, first time translated in English by a human, me, you will understand and find it more interesting than any fictional book that you may read. Because remember, when you write a book or make a movie, you do include facts about the case, but you spice it up. You make some % of it fiction, and people focus on that and keep repeating it. And that's what makes this the case, the speculation, so untrue. Just stick to the facts. They're interesting enough. Go for the facts. Look at the photos that the hikers did. A lot of YouTube channels, they feature actors from the movies as real footage from the case file. You don't do that. Just there's so many beautiful photos of this case that are true. You don't need to go to fiction, not if you want to know about the case. Because I promise you that there is going to be development very soon. There is going to be development. You better get the facts so you will understand the significance of the new announcement that they're going to do. To me, I don't have a theory. I cannot explain what happened, but I am getting deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of this case. And I do expect that I will be enlightened at some point.
What do you want to see in our final 2 minutes with you? What do you want to see come out of this?
Of the show or the case?
The case.
I want some information that will come to light to be published without the politics of it fits anybody's agenda for this case. I want people to stop using it as an inspiration for movies and make charade out of it. Like it's good for all of the media that's making the ratings go up so people learn about the case, but still there is so much damage that can be done for the relatives, and to the people close to the case, and tarnishing the memory of the victims or the people involved close to the case. It's not justifying the publicity that one can get from the short time spotlight that's going to get his movie, book, or whatever announcement. Stick to the facts.
Right.
Don't have an underlining agenda. And I am so tired to get around of it's always politics behind who announces what, who lets what information to the light. It's all of them, all of the institutions that are involved in investigating are doing it. And
Absolutely.
I really want more publicity and more clearance and more transparency of this case, because it's convoluted as it is.
Well, you are doing an amazing job with it. Please keep up the hard work. Teddy Hadjiyska, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What an absolute pleasure to have you go on our show. Probably one of the quickest 3 hours we've ever had on this program. Best of luck to you in your investigations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, Teddy Hadjiyska, Dyatlov.com. Dyatlov.com is her website. And we got to get on out of here because it's the weekend. I'm taking the weekend off. Turning things over to Tessa Nicole Thomas for Spaced Out Weekend tomorrow and Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We have Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. This week, a special thank you to everybody listening in at home, in your cars, at work, wherever you may be. Special thanks to everybody in our chat rooms and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for telling your friends, doing your part to make us bigger and better every single night, because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you on Monday. You all have a great weekend. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.